Diana, thanks for joining us today. My question, I always start every case study the same, which is what's your name? What do you do? What's the name of your business? How do you help people? And then where did you first find scaling with systems, if you can remember?
Yes. Hello, Ravi. My name is Diana Castro, and I first found you guys because I got an ad. As simple as that.
I like it. We practice what we preach. And what's the name of your business and what do you do?
Okay, so the name of my business is For Productions, and we tell our clients, give us 5 days of your life, and we will create a full year's worth of video content. And we will not only just create it, we will publish it, and we will take care of the visibility of your brand.
Very cool. And I've seen some of the case studies you guys have done and some of the people you've worked with, which has been awesome. And yours is a little unique as well, is because you actually do stuff in person as well, right? They fly in and that's how you shoot all that content at the same time, right?
Yes. So definitely people come over to us and we film. We not only film, we actually take 2 days for deep diving on their brand. I want to know about who they are, how they do things. I want to learn about their offering. I want to learn about the pain points of their clients. And we create all of the content ideation with them and prove it with other systems to make sure that that's how people are looking for them online, and that that's how like the intersection between how people are searching for them and who they are, and create something that feels sustainable and long-term, just evergreen content.
Very cool. Very cool. And my next question for you is we've been obviously working together for a while now. We've been fortunate enough to do that. I think you've seen some really cool transformations since you've been a part of here. And I wanted to, like, if you were to kind of summarize some of like two or three of the biggest ones that you've had in your business, whether they're numbers or bookings or whatever else it is, I'd love for you to share it with us. And just so to re-jog your memory, I wrote down a few of the wins that you shared with us. The first one you have here is I just wanted to share that I made my very first cold lead sale, and then you have about 800 emojis that follow that message there. Then you said that you just closed another $40,000 offer for your package from the $50,000 script. Then you said I need to sleep a little bit more. LOL. Ads are looking good. We have 13 booked calls planned over the next 5 days on top of that. And so I kind of have an idea of some of the things that we've done together and some of the transformations that you made. But just to jog your memory a little bit, what would you say is like two or the three of the biggest things that you've got since you started working with us after you saw us on an ad?
So it was awesome. It definitely worked out for us. What ended up happening is that we got onboarded. We did all of the homework. We did all of our work. I had an amazing customer service manager for me, and she felt invested in my topic. She coached me. We sent the first email out to my existing audience, and I made a sale just on that. And that I was sold. I was like, okay, this was the best. And I've made a lot of big investments when it comes to personal development, and you guys delivered on your promise. That was the first win. And then everything after that was just so beautifully orchestrated. From every day there is a call to either work on sales, work on messaging, work on Facebook ads. Like, there is so much intentionality, and the humans that you have enrolled inside of your program are so service driven, high quality, like there's like nothing I don't love about it. And then obviously from that, I remember we put the first ad with no friction. My calendar got booked for 2 months.
I
And
remember, yeah.
I
I
was
was I
like,
was hoping you were gonna mention that. I was hoping you were gonna mention that. You went from like no sales calls to literally, I remember getting on a call
I
and you're like, I'm
yeah,
booked out for 2 months, Ravi. What do I do? I was like,
Ravi,
oh my
help me.
God.
I was like, I can't do this. And it's just beautiful to be able to go from 0 to 1,000 when I didn't have the systems in place before. I was just coming out of being pregnant, and being pregnant means, for those of you who may not know or have not experienced, I was throwing up for the first 4 months. And then, like there's some time in the middle where you're like back into play. And then it's like the baby's here and like life rearranges. So because I do video and because my thing is sustainability online, I was actually surviving with content that I've created in the past. So a lot of people didn't even know that I was gone. But obviously I was not, shaking hands and kissing babies for a lot of that time. So I was like, OMG. And I feel like the universe made it so that I had really to push into intentionality of what kind of business I wanted to create, because now I have 3 kids and I want to be able to be present in their lives. So I want to create a business that serves me and not me serving the business. So how do I change the way I play this game? And having you guys by my side was definitely a huge support. Thank you.
Wow, that's thank you so much for those words. I'm gonna have to clip that and share that. I know you were working with Maria on our end too. I know she was really, really cared, and Cindy as well. Both of them loved working with you as well. And it's funny, it's like all of the case studies I've done so far, everybody just said how amazing our client success team is. So that's a huge shout out to them. And big shout out to you too, because I actually I didn't know that you had just had a baby. I mean, you showed up every day, you got to work. You said something at the very end there, which like almost brought a tear to my eye, which you said you wanted a business that served you instead of you serving it, which is literally the mission of our company. And sure, I say it in every YouTube video. I say it to my team every single day and every meeting that we have. But to hear a client say that to me was really special. And thank you for all the kind words that that you said about us. Yeah, it's been amazing working with you. You know, your situation is a little bit unique too, because it's like most of our clients have online services where it's like they sell it and then they deliver it online. But you and our team, and we discuss, and you're like, hey, I need a lot of these people to show up in person, because like to shoot that much content requires like in person. Plus, I can appreciate having created a lot of content myself, like to get in the flow and the groove and like to be able to adjust messaging and movements and stuff. You need them in person. So to have an in-person offer, but then to be booked out for months in advance, was awesome when we first saw that. I mean, it's like one of our most celebrated wins in our client success channel was to see somebody say like, I'm booked out for 2 months, which is everybody's dream. I kind of want to shift gears a little bit, because I appreciate everything you said. That was amazing about us, but like, no matter what, in any kind of relationship, there's always challenges. So whether it's like things that you're experiencing or with us, like, so when you worked with us, like, what were some of the challenges? Was it like, I already can think of one or two off the top of my head, based on what we just talked about, but it's like, um, you typically solve one problem in business and then another one pops up right behind it, right? There's like, so you think, all I need is more sales calls, and then like these other things come up. So as you kind of started scaling the business and growing it, what were some of the additional challenges that you had kind of experienced, and any solutions that you could share that either we helped you with, or that you had learned on your own through that experience?
Okay, so what comes to mind is originally kind of putting the offer out there with no filters and finding out that there was so much people want it, like they want what we have. Now, well, that is amazing. Here comes the challenge was that I didn't have enough time to be able to take care of all of the calls. Challenge number 1. Number 2 is show up rate. Yeah, a lot of people say I'm going to be there, but because the calls were made, and let's say someone saw and the only space available was a month in advance, the show up rate was low. So we had like 50% show up rate. So it sucked. And like just learning through that, learning mindset on, okay, let's have standards, let's have boundaries, let's create more friction. Now how can we word things in a way that we create non-negotiables that now we have qualified calls. So having that was also a challenge, like mastering the wording on that, how to call in those people that are meant for us. I'm not meant for everyone. In fact, I truly do have a bandwidth, like my bandwidth
Capacity.
limited. Yeah, I only have space for 4 or 5 clients per month. And well, that is amazing. It's also, how do we expand that? And I remember scaling with system was the first step to actually make sure that what you guys promised was a lead generating system that works. And that was 100% fulfilled. When I ended up that process with you guys, I remember I was like, I wish they would have like a program where I would just pay a I think I mentioned it to you. I was like, I wish I would just pay like a subscription and I'll just show up to one call a week. Like all I want is to be able to have access to you guys at least once a week, but kind of because I already had what you guys had promised. My challenge next was, how do I scale up for sales? How do I scale up for growing my bandwidth of how much people I can support and serve while creating something that I love? Like, I know I have clarity that I don't want to create this big machine that is so huge in size that it just feels like a copy paste and like it has no soul. I want to create something where I feel like the work that we do is meaningful, that we are invested in the people that we connect with. And that is really important to me. So when I left you guys for Scaling with Systems, and Joe is so awesome. He would like check on me, which is again to the testament of the people who you check. So he checked on me, I think once or twice. And then I remember I was in a meditation and I was like, okay, I think it's time for something to change. And like I was thinking about you guys or something, and Joe texted me in that moment. I received a text and I was like, son of a gun, like, are you listening to my conversations, Joe? And I remember I told him like, what's going on? And then the next stage was, now how do we create like how do we solve the next problem, which is, I need to grow the team. I need to create more space, because I'm going to be just in the same loop of like, oh my God, I only can take this much calls. I only can take. So how do I buy more time by leveraging other people's strengths? So that's where now I am part of Scaling Initiative. And I'm like, thank you, Lord, for having you guys by my side.
Oh man, that's so kind of you to say. And yeah, I was for people that don't know that are watching this, like, so on the front end, our main offer is like, we'll pack your calendars, we'll get you more clients. But as Diana was saying a moment ago, it's, you just think, oh, I just need more sales calls and more clients, so my problems are going to be solved. But business is what's known as an infinite game, which is where like you're just playing the game to play the game. If you're playing the game in business to get to some end goal, then you shouldn't be in business, because like it's never done. There's always things to do. And so obviously you had absolutely crushed it on the front end with Scaling with Systems. You had leads, sales calls, clients, and then we were like, okay, we made an offer to work with you continuously on the back end, and now we're working on client success and operations and hiring. And probably, honestly, in my opinion, if I was being really radically transparent, which is our value at our company right now, that's actually where I enjoy the most teaching and working with clients, is actually working on like pricing models and subscription services, back-end offers, client success, operations. But I have literally tried to run ads talking about that, and nobody cares about that, because everyone just thinks that they need more sales calls and that's the solution to it. So I'm like, fine, I will run the ads, I will solve that problem for you, and then we'll come into what we just got off, which was a call where we're talking about like so much more intense, in-depth stuff around like operations and fulfillment, and how do you create a back-end offer and subscription revenue and lifetime value and all of that stuff. You had mentioned something which I just want to harp on, because you had brushed by it quickly, and I think it's important. It's so simple, but it was really important for, I think, your transition, which was, when you had booked the 2 months of calls out, one of the issues that we had is we didn't have enough friction on that through that whole sales funnel. So a lot of people, they throw up and brag about how many calls they get and how many leads, et cetera, but you do have to pay attention to how quality are those calls by the time they get to you? How well do they know you, understand you? And that'll obviously lead to a higher show up rate. And I think we eventually, even like, it was so easy for us using the system to get book calls. I think we eventually just asked the question straight up, like, you have to come and go to Miami to work with us. Are you willing to do that? Yes or no? Wasn't that one of the questions that we asked at one point?
That's actually the qualifier inside of Facebook, because I knew
Yeah.
I just had a baby. My priority is my kids. And I so believe in abundance. I do believe that what's meant for me is meant for me. And the people who are ready to create content in bulk, where they get live coaching, where I help them package their messaging, they're gonna be ready to come to Miami. And if that's what they're looking for, then here we are. So yes, that was one of the first things I knew in my head. I was like, I spoke with my husband before having Ellie. I was like, oh my God, we're not going to be able to fly out anymore and like do these things, because I had my 13-year-old and my 9-year-old. So they're in this age where I can leave them with my mom, you know, but I'm still breastfeeding to this day, a year and a half later. So I knew that that was important for me, for them to come to Miami. And that is the one of the non-negotiators in my offer. And I'm open and willing to even refer people out to other providers if I cannot support them. One of my core values or my beliefs or my mission is to amplify the voice of those who are here to do good in the world. And if I am not if I'm not the person for them, there's somebody else who would be able to support them. It might not be the exact same methodology that I use and my same system, but video is a very, very powerful mean. And if they can get support by someone else, and obviously I tell them, I have never worked with them, do your homework, but make sure that it's a right fit. But I am open and willing to do that if that's the best thing for them.
Yeah, that's huge. And I think that the cool thing about you and a lot of people watching this right now, it's like you have this external thing, which was you having a child, that made you create a what we call a one pager, as you know, that's like, I'm only going to work with this person if they hit these qualifications. And then saying, okay, now that I know who I'm definitely going to work with, let me model this on my marketing message and my funnels, et cetera, et cetera. And so you were almost like forced into that decision, where most people don't have that external factor. So they just say, oh, well, I can work with anybody, so let me just work with anybody. Let me just book a call with anybody that wants to shoot video. And ironically enough, I would bet that, you know, you're, as far as dollar per hour is concerned, you probably have a higher dollar per hour with happier clients who see more results and buy more from you, because we start on that, document, Google page before we even touch the funnels, and we say, who do we want to serve? And then we say, okay, if they have to come to Miami, let's put that in the very beginning, which has been amazing to see. I want to shift gears a little bit here, because I honestly, Dinah, I have a lot of respect for you as well. So I was essentially raised by a single mother, and to hear, you running the business and all the stuff you've been doing, and then also obviously having a kid, and then having multiple kids in addition to that, has been really incredible to hear. So, my question for you is this: other than obviously more leads, sales calls, clients, et cetera, how has like what we've done inside Scaling with Systems, you had mentioned it earlier when you said our mission statement, but how has it impacted you outside of the actual business side of things? Like gotten time back, or helped you create a better roadmap or prediction for the future? Like what have, after we're done working together with us, how has that bled through to your personal life as well?
That's a big question. So I am blessed to be married to an amazing human who is my partner in crime, and he's definitely the wind beneath my wings. And as I mentioned, Rodrigo and I have invested in other programs before, and like they have done a contribution to what they needed to make a contribution on. It's not that they were less than or. And here's the thing, when it comes to delivering on promises, like you deliver on something specific and you deliver, having the ability to have a button that I put on to acquire leads and for it to work, so that I don't have to feel like, oh my God, I'm not speaking with enough people. I'm not like, a business is fueled by the amount of people who you can impact and who you can lead, and not having to be out there, hustling, which is not a word that I love, I feel attracted or feel called to, but like having to feel like I have to be out there kind of like in desperation mode of like trying to look for leads, especially when my priority is creating a foundation where family is one of our main things, is liberating. So for anyone who's looking to have a system where you turn it up and it actually attracts those that you're meant to serve with ease and grace and structured, meaning there are measurements in which you keep it being sustainable. So how do I know that the money that I'm putting in is definitely going to give me a return on investment? What are the frameworks of that? As a woman in business, and someone who tends to be woo-woo for some, mathematical constraints sometimes feel like a little bit heavy, and having someone like you who that's your strength and bring that part of the structure to my space has been a blessing. So like that masculine energy of structure and systems and KPIs, and that part has been a game changer. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm a little woo-woo as well, so we can both be woo-woo together. So and shout out, your husband's name's Alejandro?
No, Rodrigo.
Rodrigo. Shout out to Rodrigo and obviously him working with you on this and being such a huge support system. I know that's such a big deal. So we'll give him a big a shout out on this as well. So
Yes.
Dinah, incredible call. Thank you so much. People watching this right now, they like your energy, they like your story. What's the best place people can either to go work with you or just to learn a little bit more about you and your journey? Where's the best place people can find you?
So the name of our business is For Productions, FOR Productions, and there's a website for that, For Productions. And the best place to find us for this particular program that I pour my heart, soul, and energy to is videoinfluenceprogram.com. And they can check it out. And I would love to connect whoever is here to do a mission-driven, service-driven offer to help them amplify and magnify their magic to legacy and beyond.
I love it. Awesome. You guys heard it here first. Diana, thank you so much for coming on here. I appreciate your time, and everybody else, we'll talk with you guys soon. Thanks.